I will never forget the drive up to Mr. Gooch's house because we were in this 15-passenger van, and here's Kenny driving, and he's like talking to the person in the seat because he just never shuts up when he's driving. And these roads are like this wide, and our van is like this wide, and half of the road is like washed out on this one corner, and we're trying to get to Mr. Gooch's house, and I'm freaking out. Like, I'm sitting there, I have a window seat, and I'm like gripping the seat for dear life, and Jenna is like out because she's taking melatonin, and I'm just gripping for dear life, and we finally get to Mr. Gooch's house, and I've never been so happy in my life to see the Gooch. Like,
I will never forget getting back from hard work, passing out, playing a couple games of cards, and all the fun people we met, and a couple of the ladies.
I guess I'll never forget the excitement at night and the worship time we had there with all the young people and old people like me there worshiping, and the excitement and the noise, and the day's finished, and it just everybody had a great time.
I'll never forget one of our evening devotional times. We'd gotten through the end of the lesson, and the lights are all dim, and the guys are just kind of lounging around on their beds. And here's Kenny Hepler. He's kind of sitting back on his bed, and we kind of start to get off topic. And next thing you know, Kenny Hepler's playing the wise old sage, and the boys are asking him questions, and he's giving his wise advice. Well, in my experience, he says, and the bonding and the knowledge and the conversations that came out of that were just really amazing.
Something that I will never forget from this mission trip would probably be all the faces that we had when we finished Mr. Gooch's house. That we all turned around. We were standing on like a hill where his like normal hunting shack was, and the new house that we built was kind of down a hill. So if you stood up by his house, you could kind of see the roof and the overview. And every time we looked back, we were like, "Dang, we did that!" And that was probably some of the best work that we've all ever done on anything. And just to be how proud we are of it and how happy Mr. Gooch is on it.
Something that I will never forget from this mission trip is probably the feeling of Bobby's head after we freshly shaved it with razors. We really didn't have a clipper because the cord wasn't working, it was jammed. So we went to the basics and we brought a pair of scissors out. We shaved him down as far as we could go, and then we took like normal leg shavers and we just took it to his head. Oh my God, just the feel of like baby smooth scalp. It's amazing.
Something I probably will never forget is the meals Mr. Gooch made us, because he didn't have a lot to give us, but he took time out of his day and of all the normal stuff he does just to make us a meal. And it was just really great to know that he appreciated what we were doing and was giving back to us for what we did.
I will never forget the trip to West Virginia, the car ride, because I don't remember any of it because I was sleeping the whole time. And I also will never forget Cassidy drawing on my face.
Alright, one thing I remember on this mission trip was when we were on the work site, and then my mom really wanted to get on the roof. And she's trying to work her way up, and all the guys are like, no, stay down, we don't want you to fall off. And then she was convinced to go on after coming all the way, and one thing led to another, and pretty soon Bobby was downgraded to the ground. We're handing up everything to everybody. And then pretty soon I couldn't really do anything anymore because she was standing right by my side making sure I didn't do anything dangerous.
One thing I'll never forget about this mission trip is actually finding out that there was one. It sort of got under my radar, and of course I just turned 60, and that might have something to do with it.
The thing that I remember the most is the foot washing night that we had. Probably because it seemed to like make our group really cohesive that night, and I had to stick my feet in really dirty water because I wouldn't last. So that's what I remember.
One thing that moved and changed me was seeing all the faces, seeing their background stories, seeing how so many different people came for so many different reasons, and how they were changed as well when they were done, and how much fun they had.
I was really touched, the closeness and the relationship that we developed with Mr. Gooch when we were working on his roof. One day he brought out a straw hat and gave it to me, and then I traded him a Packer cap the next day. And I just thought it was real thoughtful of him to do that, to give me a hat for the sunlight. And then he ended up giving Bobby a hat too, and it was just nice that he did that.
Mr. Gooch was right out there. Even though he couldn't work, he helped where he could. Telling us his story, he truly was a man of misfortune. He had things, but then through a series of mishaps, he found himself with nothing. And so Next Step was able to come out and at least help him find shelter and friendship and the fellowship of other people around him. In this beautiful country, it can also be so desolate. So to have him come out and to show his appreciation for being there with him, not just helping him with his circumstances, but for being there with him, really moved me.
The landscape that we were working in, I mean, we weren't working in like some hot, desolate field. We were just nestled in this like perfect little valley that was just surrounded by nature. It wasn't hot ever. We just had the perfect weather all the time. It was peaceful, to say the least, to work in. There was nobody got, I guess heat exhaustion or anything of the sort. It was peaceful to work in this, and it was just beautiful to be there the entire week.
The thing that really moved me was my brother-in-law when we moved to Portage. We had to rent a truck. In fact, I did so well that I now have delusions of adequacy.
It was probably the look on Mr. Gooch's face the last day that we were there. It was hot, everyone was grumpy, to say the least. And when we got down and we saw that the roof had been finished, just the look on his face, it was so happy. Like, he went from having so much to so little in such a short period of time that he was just so grateful. It almost brought him to tears.
What really moved me, was when we did the feet washing as a group. It really brought us closer together, and it was really great to hear everybody say nice things about each other. And I think it just brought us closer for the rest of the week.
That a moment that touched me was the last day that we were there. We were finishing up, and Mr. Gooch had just been telling me some things about his family when he was growing up, and I was in his kitchen, and he asked me to pray for him that day, and so that was pretty moving for me, because I just felt honored that he would ask me to do that. So that was what moved me.
You can see Mr. Gooch has been pretty popular here, but a moment that really touched me was when he came on the last day to our dinner that we had, and it wasn't required by him at all, but he just came to thank us all and be with us. And we were, at the end, we were all trying to get individual pictures with him, and then getting like 5 of us together, and then a group shot, because it was really hard to say goodbye to him, because we really got to be pretty close to him that week.
What moved me on mission trip was the man we worked for, Mr. Gooch. He cared about all of us so much, and this was the first mission trip I've ever been on where I actually got to form a bond with the people that I worked for and with. I don't form bonds like that very easily, but he was out there every day, and he was watching us, and we were working on the roof, and he was like, "Don't fall off the edge, don't get hurt." Like, he was like a grandfather to all of us, and we just got so close throughout the week, and he like made us meals and gave us whatever he could, and he was always saying to me, "Oh, you take care of those boys," and he was just like, he gave the best hugs. And then on the last day, he drove 45 minutes. He drove 45 minutes in his truck with his back problems that had stopped him previous weeks from coming to the dinner because it hurt him so bad, but he stuck it out and he came anyway because he wanted to see us all again. And when he left, literally we stood out by his truck for half an hour and like kind of put off saying goodbye. And then when we finally did, I'm pretty sure every single person at least teared up, if not cried. So it was just really nice to be able to get close with someone like that, and I know that we're never going to forget him.
A way God probably was in it for me was I never fell off the roof once or anything close. Not one injury, small or large, happened to me. And that's pretty huge considering half the stuff I was doing there.
God has been present in my life pretty heavily these last few years, and being on mission trip and being the oldest out of all the girls and out of most of the guys, it kind of put me in a leadership position with them and put me in kind of an example position and really gave me a passion for being there for youth, and so I decided to go to college to be a youth pastor.
I guess I believe God spent the whole week with us to get us out there safely. We drove 810 miles out there and 810 miles back, and then we didn't have any injuries. And we were working up on top of a roof, and there's quite a drop off. And at the end of the week, I just know that God protected everyone.
When you have a relationship with someone and you get to know them, and you can actually see changes happen in them because of circumstance, because of experience, because of their relationships with other people, that is something really special, something really unique. And the mission trips gives an opportunity to see those changes happen. When you're crammed into this little van with 14 or 15 people, when you're bunking up with these same people, when you're working on a roof with these same people in the heat of the day, when you're eating with these people, for a full week, you really get to know them, and you see these things happen, and it's truly amazing.
One way that God was here for us was He gave us strength and courage to pull through the week. I mean, it was hard work, I'll be honest. It was getting up super early that none of us were probably ever used to, going and working all day, coming back, vegging out a little bit, but even still participating in activities that took energy from you. So I feel like He really gave us strength, the internal strength to keep going all week to make it right to the very end where He needed us to be.
So we get up on the roof, and like the roof is like this, and then on the back side of the roof, like the hill's like this, and it drops down for another good, 20, 30 feet. And I remember, like, one of the few days I was sawing for the group on top of the roof, just kind of sawing off the extra board. I remember I was leaning over the edge and I looked down at this drop, and I thought, if I die, my mom will kill me. So I was just so thankful that, everyone came off that group, hands and limbs, and everything was safe. That's how God was there for us.
Every night we would do Yay Gods, and it was like where you would say the little things that God did and ways that you saw God, and it really made me realize all the little things that He does and how just to live every day.
God gave me the strength to keep going even when I was sick and didn't want to do anything, but to me it wasn't work, it was a gift to do all this stuff. And He helped me grow from this little shy person to opening up and doing devotionals, and it just helped me a lot in my faith and kind of changed me as a person through this whole process.
And it's definitely nice to be called by God to go there and help other people, but they definitely appreciate it. That they sometimes seem to expect it from you. On this one, Mr. Gooch definitely appreciated it, but he seemed to be touched by it too. And he even had some tapes in his truck, like Bible things, and I can tell that he was affected by us and God that way. And I hope he continues to seek Him for the rest of his life.
The way that I felt like God was present was through all of the kids and through the adults that were on the trip. And I guess as the youth director, it was just really a privilege to be able to see them grow as the week went on and just see the change in them. And so I was grateful for that. And that's the reason that I keep going on mission trips, because it's a powerful thing for the kids and for the people that we serve and for me personally. And so for me, I guess that's how I felt God was present.